I can't live like this, Terry.
Every day, it's drama. It's just ridiculous.
In case you can't tell, I've had it, okay?
Linda has verbally suggested maybe we should just be divorced.
So the words were spoken?
Yeah. It's just to the point where we cannot keep doing this.
I really don't care, because I sure as hell am not going to live like this anymore with you.
These videos are not for children. If you're a children, then piss off.
Hey there, it's me, your least favorite YouTuber, the Infuso. And finally, after all this time, we've made it. We're now at the final season of the world's worst named TV show, Hogan Knows Best. If you've yet to see my previous videos in the series, then I highly recommend checking those out first. Links in the comments section and description below. With all that being said, let's get right on into it. Episode 33. In case you were thinking, alright, we're 3 seasons in. I'm sure the accidental foreshadowing and dark irony is about to run out. Well, I assure you, much like Hulkamania itself, it's still running wild. As the first episode of the final season starts out like this.
After 23 years of marriage, things are starting to crumble.
In case you can't tell, I've had
I
it.
sure as hell am not going to live like this anymore with you.
That is the first glimpse we get into the last look at this show. It does make me wonder how much of this reality TV is actually based in reality. Look, I know, I get that a lot of you guys watching these videos assume that I'm a complete idiot who doesn't know how to separate fact from fiction, because you feel the need to constantly remind me in the comment section that the show is scripted. And yeah, I know, dude. All reality TV is at the very least a little bit scripted. At the very least. I'm very well aware. I've even commented on the show being creatively bankrupt because it can't come up with any original ideas, and instead just spends its time recycling old ones. That should have been a very good indication that I understand this is performed. I hate to break the illusion here, but I'm in on it, guys. I don't need to constantly reiterate that what we're watching is staged, because it doesn't have any relevance to me reviewing the end product. That'd be like me stopping my Batman reviews to remind you that Batman is in fact being played by an actor. Or me pausing in the middle of one of my wrestling videos to let you know that everything's predetermined. I'm not going to bring it up unless it provides more context. Like, for example, right now. All of reality TV isn't 100% reality, to say the very least. But it also isn't 100% scripted 100% of the time. And considering the issues we see in the show, such as problems in the Hogan's marriage, Nick's ongoing need for speed, and several other things that would wind up making headlines just a year later, I think it's worth noting that a lot of these things probably weren't exclusively manufactured made-for-TV drama. This whole episode sees Linda and Terry about ready to take it down to the metaphoric marital wrestling ring. We're not really introduced to this plot. We're kind of thrown into it. The episode starts mid-fight, and then it just continues throughout its runtime. As soon as the season starts, divorce is brought up. Several times, as a matter of fact.
Would you be happier divorced?
I don't know.
No, you wouldn't be.
How do you know?
Because he's the love of your life.
Some of our arguments have been so intense that Linda has verbally suggested maybe we should go our separate ways, or maybe you should get a lawyer, and maybe we should just be divorced.
If it feels like I'm throwing all this at you at once, that's because that's how I feel as the viewer. I'm just the messenger, guys. I don't make the shitty TV shows, I just talk about them. The Hogans go to counseling. But that goes about as well as you might have expected, considering the two are now very divorced. They agree to give each other wish days, where one person has to do everything the other one wants. Because yeah, that seems entirely healthy and not a problem waiting to happen.
If you want to make your marriage work, that's what the doctor ordered.
I've said a lot of bad things about this show, but I really want to give it credit especially for this one episode. Because this may be one of the realest moments in all of reality TV. Not only are the Hogan's marital problems on full display, but so is the inevitability of their demise and divorce. Linda and Hogan's problems keep them divided, but despite that, it's clear that there is still some love there. And that's what's keeping them going. But love isn't always enough. Case in point, how this ended. They're both desperately trying to get back to where they were, but it seems like they've already gone too far. The writing is on the wall, and even Hulk Hogan himself can't politic his way out of the finish. It may not work for you, brother, but you're still dropping the ring, and Linda's going over in the divorce. It's actually really sad to watch. This is a very, very heavy episode. And it doesn't disguise its own ugliness, it actually puts a spotlight on it. This is really, really rough. The episode ends with Hulk reciting a poem. Which, yeah, that's a nice way to end this episode, but that clearly wasn't the end of the problem. This episode may just be the most unfortunate episode in a series of unfortunate events. Episode 34. The next episode of the show is back to the normally abnormal. Brooke needs to make an appearance on Wild and Out, and Hulk decides that she needs a bodyguard. Hogan interviews several candidates, questioning everything about them from their height to their sexual orientation. Because, you know, the guy's looking for someone who will protect his daughter, not impregnate his daughter. Hogan picks this guy, because of course he does, and he almost immediately begins to bother Brooke. He attempts to be friendly with Hulkster Jr., but she clearly immediately sees him as foe. And not only is he there to guard Brooke, but he's also there to report everything back to Papa Hogan. There's a lot of this episode that seems incredibly staged, obviously. Like several dudes approaching Brooke in the gym and telling her that they're big fans of her music. I mean, no offense when I say this, but I'm pressing X. Brooke actually does relatively well on Wild and Out, even managing to take home a title belt like her father before her.
So much for having me. I had a blast.
That's a black voice.
It's not a black voice. In actuality, not a black voice.
After her appearance during a radio interview, she's given this incredibly awful idea.
This is what you do to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
Tell your dad he's hitting on you. Because you know your dad. He doesn't want nobody messing with you.
Right.
Yes, your bodyguard's annoying. So you should definitely frame him and tell your dad that he's, harassing you in the workplace. Oh man, false allegations are just so quirky. To be fair, Brooke does a terrible thing in the least terrible way possible, playing it off as the guy has a crush on her. So, you know, she could have done worse, but still, bad form. So ultimately, this guy winds up losing his job because he did his job. And Brooke gets what she wants until Hulk at the very end reveals that she's getting a new bodyguard, and this one's a woman.
You know what I mean? I wanted a woman! Now you, Hulk Hogan!
Which Brooke is psyched about, though I don't understand why this is too much better. Like, how does this change anything? You were annoyed that he's there. This woman is also going to be there. Do you know what a bodyguard does? Episode 35. The Hogans feel that they know best. Wonder what gave them that idea. And feeling that they know best, they decide the Hulkster needs a makeover.
A man purse? Or will I be able to stop the metrosexual mania from running wild?
Shortly thereafter, this awkwardness happens.
We like your workout pants.
With no socks, just like ankle socks. That's hot. Looking good.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
You could wear like that.
Oh boy, this is uncomfortable. When was that Gawker video made again? This episode is pretty goofy. We see Hogan don several hairstyles, some of which involving hair pieces, and some of which involving his own lack of hair. Basically, the whole Hogan family reenacts that shopping montage that you see in every early 2000s rom-com, which I'll admit is kind of fun. This eventually leads to Hulk going to a spa where they turn him into a non-microwavable meal, and afterward, as Hogan's washing the remnants of his reheated leftovers off, Brooke is told to leave so he could properly shower, but she continues to watch him through the curtain off to the side.
Oh! Oh my God!
I tried to warn you.
I just saw it. I saw my dad's baby.
Okay, I have several questions, but all of them start with why. You know what? Let's just leave it at that. Why? And I'm not even just talking about the rest of the questions, but the answers as well. Let's just leave it at that one statement. Why? As a matter of fact, I'm just going to look past the fact that a few scenes later, Nick leaves his hands wrapped around his sister's waist for a little bit too long. And I'm also going to look past the fact that Nick, at the end of the episode, looks to take his mother up on a back massage that's offered to his father.
How about a nice back rub to make up to you?
I'll take one.
I'll tell you guys.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm just going to look past it entirely. I don't want to think about it anymore. I'm just done. They eventually decide to take Hulk to a hair restoration facility, which is a thing that I clearly didn't know existed. And as you can imagine, that doesn't go over so well because he's basically made the tan butt of the joke. Then the big guy makes this pretty sad statement.
You know what I don't get? It's how come everybody else in the world loves me except for my own family.
Oh man, I bet that's exactly how Will Smith feels.
Oh, wow!
Episode 36. This episode actually works as a remake to a Goofy movie and an extremely Goofy movie, with the Hulkster feeling shut out of his son's life, so he goofily attempts his best to bond with his son. Hulk tries to learn how to internet to no avail, and even goes out of his way to listen to Nick's at the time favorite artist, Young Jeezy.
I got that new Young Cheesy CD, man. I wanted to get his hit song put on there.
Did you say Young Cheesy?
Yeah, I got Young Jay-Z stuff.
It's not Young Jay-Z, it's Young Jeezy.
It's actually really ridiculous watching Hulk listen to this music and try to memorize all the words so that Nick will be impressed by him. You know, you would think winning 12 world titles would have done it, but the episode ends with Hulk actually taking private classes on how to drift so that he could get on his son's level. And while Nick admires his father's sudden skill, he also finds the notion insane. Oh, look at that. Sometimes celebrity kids really are like the rest of us.
Biggie Smalls still got that war going with Tupac and all that stuff.
Right. Well, I think that war is done.
Episode 37. So this episode opens a little bit awkwardly, but at this rate, that's really to be expected.
Brooke, shouldn't you have more of a covering shirt on?
I have boob tape on.
Dad.
So Linda wants to work out, but doesn't want to do it with her husband Hollywood. Hogan decides to help her out while also demonstrating that he doesn't know how to use a time-appropriate cell phone. And also, hey, Terry, like the shirt. Just really wish somebody would have gave it to you an episode earlier.
I got 100s on the tables, I got 20s on the floor, I got gangsters in the crowd, and I got a bag dough.
What are you, a rapper now?
Hulk makes a couple calls to find his wife a personal trainer, only to eventually find that trainer getting a little bit too personal with her. Ahead of the inevitable awkwardness is more unnecessary awkwardness, as Hulk and this trainer don't really get off to a great start. In case you're wondering, they also don't have a good middle or end either. It's just a bad story altogether between these two.
Slovakia?
Yeah.
Is that near Transylvania?
If you don't know so far, why would you want to know?
He looks like a young Brutus. Yeah.
I am like myself.
But I think the best part of this is that Hulk takes less offense to the fact that this guy may or may not be hitting on his wife, and much more offense to the fact that the guy shit talks wrestling.
I don't know you. When I was a kid and I watched the wrestling, it was so fake to me.
You would use the word fake in my house again, you'll never come back in this house again.
So then Linda and Brooke go to a yoga class, as instructed by a comedian, and that's not a joke, that's a real thing that actually happens. And speaking of a real thing that actually happened, this.
That's enough of that.
Eventually, she does go to the gym with Hulk to her greatest regret, and then I had to watch this to my greatest regret.
Give me a kiss. Ow!
Episode 38. So Brooke's got a boyfriend, and the family's got a problem. And that problem is Brooke's new boyfriend. Now granted, this time it may have some validity, as this is a 30-year-old man dating a 19-year-old girl. Again, I'm not going to be the relationship police. I'm not going to condemn someone, but all I'm saying is that those 11 years, and by the way, 11 years is a pretty big gap, but these specific 11 years are pretty important developmental years. And I think that's way too big of an age gap this early in life. Again, that's just my own opinion, but, you know, that's not for me. This episode is almost like a clip show of the series, because there are callbacks galore. Brooke tries to prepare her date for what her father might be like, and how he might treat him, using examples from previous episodes.
Okay, he will say,
So, how much do you bench, buddy?
no questions about has he had an AIDS test. Have you ever had an AIDS test?
Why
No saying that when we go on dates, we have to take my car with a tracking device in it.
Because she's dated other models that were real inconsistent with her job.
No putting him through torturous workouts.
And when he finally does meet the Hulkster, he really doesn't do a whole lot to help his situation.
Or like she doesn't feel 19.
What do you mean she doesn't feel?
I use bad words.
So after meeting this guy, Hulk brings in the mother of all callbacks by bringing back Jerry. You remember Jerry, the guy who was dating his daughter who he didn't like? Well, now he's not dating his daughter, so now he likes him and wants him to date his daughter, because, you know, this is a sitcom. He invites Jerry over to try to sway Brooke away from Mark. And this leads to what I think might be one of the most hilariously awkward moments in all of reality television.
Brooke used to date Jerry, or Brooke is dating Jerry, or what is Jerry doing there? You guys talk all the time.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And this is the first moment on the show that I unironically laughed at. I think this may be one of my favorites. It's just too ridiculous. It's that little note that he carelessly plays immediately after nonchalantly. That did it for me. This show went from a 1 to a 10 just like that. Anyway, long story short, Hulk winds up getting Brooke to go back out with Jerry, only to be disappointed and disgusted when she does. You just can't win with Hulk Hogan, which is a thought I'm sure that several of his past colleagues have expressed on numerous occasions. Also, who asks somebody to make out with them for the expressed purpose of their parent scene?
He's watching what we're gonna do right now.
What does he think we're gonna do?
I don't know. I have an idea. Will you kiss me?
Episode 39. Linda decides to take the whole Hogan clan out to the farm to become the Hollywood Hillbillies.
Look how cute these are.
Woo! I like it! Those are really sexy, especially with firm tan thighs.
The Hogans do ranch stuff, and I don't care. I'm sorry, I'm just never fond of episodes like this. I find them mostly boring and very repetitive. So I don't have a whole lot to talk about here.
Okay.
Brooke, you should sing for him.
I'd rather clean
Oh, man.
Actually, Nick really sums up how I feel about this episode.
You like this?
No.
What do you guys...
There is one confusing moment, though, where Brooke refuses to shoot a gun because she's afraid of them.
Brooke, are you gonna do it?
Hell no.
Brookie, come on.
I'm staying far away from them because those things freak me out.
But she literally just shot one a few episodes ago. Like, that's from this season.
This is really cool. I actually could totally get into this.
This episode is boring, and I'm glad to get through it, but I will say, it does have a pretty prophetic end.
Now the kids are growing up, everybody's lives are going in different directions, and this vacation just means so much because I don't know when we're all going to be together again.
Episode 40. The episode begins with Nick and his friend Stax, and that's Stax with a $sign replacing the S, don't forget it, attending an art class so that they can oogle naked ladies, instead of Googling naked ladies. Very obvious that Nick is only paying attention to one particular, or actually, should I say, two particular portions of the model. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Brooke is getting the birds and the bees talk when she brings up this revelation.
What'd you see when you were 5?
You guys in bed.
Please, let's not go there
Wrestling.
now.
Oh, don't worry. Daddy's not hurting Mommy.
When Brooke asks why Nick doesn't get the talk, Hulk says that it's because he doesn't believe his son is active, because the only thing Nick loves is cars. Yeah, apparently the only thing we have to worry about is what Nick does to his stuffed Lightning McQueen plushie.
You don't think Nick's having sex, do you?
Total player.
Total player.
Shaves his happy trail.
Wears jeans with no underwear.
Has internet.
When Hulkster learns that his son is more than likely, on the active roster, he starts treating him the way that he treats Brooke. He winds up getting Nick a pretend practice baby, who cries uncontrollably. For the second time in a row, this isn't an episode I'm particularly fond of, and Nick once again surprisingly sums up my thoughts on it.
I don't get it. This is stupid.
Episode 41. Brooke is doing something at Universal, but the Hogans want to go to the theme park afterward. The only problem is everyone always seems to recognize them, which is believable from Hulk, but everyone instantly recognizing Brooke and Nick? Once again, I'm pressing X.
And I'll be giving you the rug.
Why are you performing your routine in front of your father? Like, honestly, why am I bothering? Why am I bothering? If I just ignore it, this all goes faster. Brooke has her performance, which doesn't seem to be all that good. Why is it even when the show frames Brooke's performances as being a win in her column, they always come off more like losses? Anyway, the whole family don prosthetics so they can go incognito. But they wear costumes that seem like they would attract more attention than they would have gotten had they just walked out there as themselves. The Hogans remain in character all throughout, so it's nice to see that the whole family knows how to keep kayfabe. This episode really feels like the prelude to the Jackass Bad Grandpa stuff, but just, not as good. Or, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that, not good. Eventually, though, they decide that they're sick of not being noticed and start to openly give up their disguise. These poor guys didn't realize that anonymity came with anonymity.
Wow. Y'all watch VH1?
Yeah.
Yep.
Know that show Hogan Knows Best?
Yes, they're filming it here. Shut up! That whole group is here, really?
Yeah, I heard they were here. You know that show Hogan Knows Best? What about Brooke Hogan? You think she's hot?
so they dropped the act and revealed themselves. I started off hating this episode, but this plot twist is so on brand and hilarious that I think I actually might love it now. And what I love even more is how they act like they swerved this whole crowd of people who probably immediately realized the ruse, but could care less. Like, the Hogan family is out here acting like they recreated Bash at the Beach, but they were really performing Unknown in Universal. Episode 42. Brooke Hogan, for as seemingly sweet of a person as she is, unfortunately adopted some of her parents' worst traits. She has the ego of her father, but the spending ability of her mother. This whole episode is just her making the same mistake over and over and over again, which is also a potential title for my future autobiography. Brooke inherits her parents' responsibility over her career, but is having a hard time being responsible. She overspends, and now she needs to put herself on a budget for all of her shows. Only thing I really want to comment on in this episode is Hogan opening up for his daughter by saying this.
So give a big round of applause for my 18-year-old daughter.
Number 1, she was 19 at the time. And number 2, why would you draw attention to that specifically? Episode 43. Here we are. The end of it all, the grand finale. And one of the most unfortunately named shows in TV history ends with an episode with one of the most unfortunate titles in TV show history. Father of the Year. Some foundation wants to induct Hogan as Father of the Year, a title I'm guessing they've since stripped him of and stricken from the record. It's actually a sweet episode, which not only shows Hulk as a husband and a father, but also as a son. He takes care of his mother throughout the episode, and I gotta say, it's pretty cute. It's nice watching her interact with him and the rest of the family. Except for Linda, who she clearly does not like, and as a matter of fact, I would say downright hates.
Why did they send you there anyway?
Will you shut up so
I'm
I can
sorry,
talk?
I'm just asking. Yeah. All right, go ahead. What were you saying?
Now you're gonna make me forget what I'm saying.
Ask Linda that question.
Ask Linda.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I talk to the sky, talk to Linda.
But luckily for her, she wouldn't have to worry about Linda too much longer after this episode. And that unfortunate foreshadowing is back and particularly strong in this episode. During the runtime, you get lines like this.
There's a lot of times when your mother and I fight wide open verbally, and, we shouldn't do that. Marriage is tough. You got to work at it.
Another appearance from Hulk Hogan's best buddy, Bubba. And on top of all of that, this episode actually ends with Hogan saying this.
I am proud to be Father of the Year. And if I keep working on my parenting and husband skills, maybe next year I'll get Husband of the Year.
Hulk, not only were you not Husband of the Year the following year, but you weren't even a husband the following year. In a really dark and cynical way, that's pretty funny. But it's also incredibly sad to watch this knowing how it all ended up. Hogan Knows Best, at best, is a time capsule. A prelude to the public drama that would unfold shortly thereafter. There are plenty of moments from this series that have almost immediately aged poorly. But despite all of this, I would suggest looking back at it. Remember, my videos aren't a supplement for this program. They're a summary of it. There are so many more moments you're missing out on not watching it yourself. So go and track it down. I want to give a quick shout out to Brian Zane. Brian actually went out of his way to give me the last remaining episodes of the series. For without him, there would be no video. So I gotta thank the Z-Man for that. And as a thank you, I promise to never refer to him as that again. But with all that being said, that was Hogan Knows Best. And now that all that's over, so is the series. No more Hogan Knows Best seasons mean no more Hogan Knows Best videos. They're done, and I can finally move on with my... Oh, wait a second. What was that? What is that? All the way back there. It's getting kind of closer, but I can't quite seem to make it out. Oh no. Oh, no, that's it. No, that's it. That was supposed to be over. That's it. No! Well, guys, if you like this video and want to see me dive into the show's short-lived spin-off, let me know in the comment section below by leaving a comment saying, Brooke Hogan Knows Best. And with all that being said, I was your least favorite YouTuber, Infuso, and I thank you for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. Oh, and before you go, I wanted to ask, have you ever loved one of my videos but couldn't find it because the copyright overlords have struck it down and smited me? Have you ever wanted to watch some of my many deleted videos again? Have you ever wanted me to review something specific? Like, we're talking a whole ass review at your own request. Have you ever wanted early access to my content weeks or even at times months before it comes out on the channel? Well, if the answer to all above is yes, you're in luck. All of these things are a possibility with the relaunch of my Patreon, so feel free to check it out and sign up for all the rewards I mentioned and all the ones I didn't. Link in the description below.
I'm pretty much over this crap.
I am vengeance. I am the night, and that was V Infuso. Just remember, if you're not tuning in, then you're missing out.
So, if you like the words that came out of his mouth hole, and you too would like to become a V-generate, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, nerds!
And if you're not joining the fun, you're in for one bad day. And you know what they say about having one bad day?
Catch him next time. Same bat time. Same bat channel.